What up, world? You on the mic with Mike, Mr. Mike. And this is Keep That Chair Spinning. Let's get it. What up, good people? Welcome back. As I said, this is Keep That Chair Spinning. I am your man, Mr. Mike. By now, you definitely know what we have going. This is simply a podcast that's geared to our up and coming barbers, our barbers that are maybe fresh out of barber school, or barbers that are still in barber school trying to get ahead of the game. I appreciate the grind. I appreciate the hustle. Like, you definitely have to think ahead in this game. Or maybe it's just a veteran barber that's been at it for a couple years and have found themselves stagnant. Maybe found themselves hopping from shop to shop and trying to figure out what is it, why can't they get their thing going. Hopefully this podcast has been able to help a couple to kind of get back into a groove, get themselves into a system and a routine that hopefully is picking up the clientele, the traction that they need to start feeling whole again. Today's topic, we want to cover your nerves or theirs. This is a very situation, like nobody wants to be running around with high blood pressure, chasing behind a very indecisive customer. Clarity is key. For me, I try to ask a million questions. Now, I know my wife will probably say different when it comes to home, but home is home. Barbershop, man, every moment is precious. Every moment is valuable. So I try to ask a million questions. I try to make sure that me and the customer are on the same page. There's no confusion. That what they're asking for, I can receive it, and that they are able to describe it correctly. I say that all the time. I tell the customers that there is two parts to a good haircut. It's the customer being able to explain it and the barber being able to understand it. Those are two key parts to a good haircut. For me, like, I can remember when I was young, my brother was in barber school at one point, and I was younger, didn't really know anything too much about the haircutting, but he ended up cutting my hair, and by the time he gave me the mirror, I looked just like him as far as the haircut. Like, he had cut my hair just how he had cut his hair, and I mean, it's not what I asked for, but he never asked me how I wanted my hair cut either. So I mean, that is a true thing. Like, sometimes barbers just sit down and go to work, and you end up cutting that barber's or the customer's hair, pretty much what you're used to. Like, you kind of just get in the groove and you just get to cut, or you feel like this is what matches their style. Like, no, you need to sit down, make sure you take your time, face them towards that mirror and be like, all right, now what are we trying to do? Because I'm telling you, the worst thing that you can do is end up cutting 2 or 3 different haircuts on one customer. Nobody has time for that. Like, that's too much time spent. That's too much time wasted on one customer when you got a shop full of walk-ins, or you end up being late on customers. And I told you before, like, being late is never good. I mean, it does happen. It is part of the game. But when you spent too much time on this one customer and now you find yourself 2, 3 customers behind, like, it's bad for business. It's bad for your blood pressure, all that. So, turn that chair around to the mirror. Don't be afraid, and let's talk about it. Like, let's get this out the way. Like, what are we trying to achieve here? Especially ask them, hey man, do you have a picture? Like, that'll knock out a lot of the false understanding and trying to pick up what they're saying, trying to pick up on the clues and the hints that they're speaking on. Just turn them around, give me a picture. Okay, now look, on this picture, this looks bald right here. Okay, are we trying to do bald, or do you want it close? That's one of the main things I definitely try to ask when it comes to that. Are we trying to bald it out, or do you want it close? But because if it's close, you're still able to see an edge up. No matter how close we can get, I can still get you an edge up. But if you want it bald, it's gonna be skin. There won't be no edge up until we get to the front of the head. So clarity is key on that. It sucks because there are so many different styles and variations to one simple haircut. You end up feeling like Bubba Gump in Forrest Gump. You're talking about the low fade, the drop fade, the taper fade, and it sucks because it's just the same cut with just a different name. So be clear in asking them, or do you want it all the way around, or do you want it just in the temple area in the back? How high are we talking about? What does your 1.5 look like? For me, especially when they don't really come off as if they know what they're talking about. Man, I have no problem walking them down, because I'd rather take my time and getting it right instead of having to come back and try and fix it and do it like they want. So even if they say, I think I got a 2, you know what? I'm gonna start with a 4. I'm gonna put this 4 on you. Then I'll knock it down to a 3.5 if that don't look right. Then a 3. Then a 2.5. Like, I'm gonna make sure that you want a 2, because you can always take more off, but you cannot put anything back on. Like, you need to understand that. Once you put that 1 against the grain, like they said, and then they look in the mirror and they looking like Kevin off of Home Alone, like, that's it. You can't do nothing else about that. That 1 against the grain is their new haircut. Tell him what he's won. So you want to be clear. You want to take your time. You want to be patient in giving them the haircut that they're trying to explain. But again, clarity is key. So take your time. Ask a million questions. Because the thing is, half the time they truly do not know what they want, especially when it comes to the moms. The moms are bringing the kids to the barbershop because dad is working too much, or he's out of town, or whatever the case may be, and the mom is really just filling in for the time being. And they don't know haircuts, what I mean? They know is they want 2-3 inches off their own style. So when it comes to these different type of fades and stuff, take your time, talk it out with them, but be firm in your recommendations. You know what I mean? You have by now in your barber school, and you've seen quite a few different cuts, so you kind of do know what styles may fit the customer. But make sure that you are firm and let them know, look, with the style of cut that he had last time and the cut that you're trying to go for right now, it's not gonna look right, because this is trying to grow back in, or that is trying to grow back in. Same thing I've had when a kid was trying to get the mohawk, but the last cut that we did was a 1 against the grain, which is very low, all even. But now here he is 2 weeks back, and mom was like, oh yeah, we want a mohawk. Okay, well, I can give you a mohawk, but it's gonna be a baby mohawk. It's gonna be a starter kit mohawk. Like, I need you to know that it's not gonna be this big fluffy mohawk like you thinking that you're dreaming about. So talk it out with them, let them know, and your experience will start to show, and they'll gain their confidence in you, and they'll trust that you are leading them down the right path to a haircut for their kid, or for them as a customer in general. But the thing is too, you don't want to waste too much time in that consultation part. Like, you don't want to banter back and forth and just waste too much time, because again, if you got 2 or 3 customers sitting here waiting on you, like, they get to looking at their clock and making you feel like the pressure is on, and now you gotta push harder, or you may end up messing up because you do feel like you're on a time frame and you got your people waiting. So don't waste too much time. Just try and get it cut and clear. Face them towards that mirror. Hey, what are we trying to do? Hard part? No hard part. Edge up in the front? No edge up in the front. Like, just ask all the questions that you can possibly think of 2-3 steps ahead. That way it's already out of the way, and we don't have to come back and mama or dad over there on their phone, and they'd have missed half the haircut, and you're like, oh no, nah. They're like, oh no, I wanted to do this. Well, you should have said that. 1, you should have been paying attention, or 2, I say you should have said that. And it's the same thing with the customer that's actually in your chair. Don't be afraid when you're in the middle of that cut to turn them towards the mirror. Let them take a peek, because they aren't paying attention. If you're not talking to them, especially if they on their phone or whatever the case may be, go ahead and turn around to the mirror and, hey, are we going in the right direction? Is this what we're shooting for? Are we going down the right path? Because I would rather have to start kind of cleaning it up or changing it up halfway through the cut instead of all the way through the cut. So don't be afraid to turn around the cut, and even if they're tripping and it's like, oh well, I was looking out, let me finish. You know what I mean? As long as I'm on the right beat, just let me finish. But if this needs to go higher, or you did want it all the way around, I'd rather find out about it halfway through the cut than all the way at the end when I give you the mirror and how is this, and you're like, oh no, I wanted it all the way around actually. So don't be afraid. Like, believe in yourself, turn towards that chair, make conversation, and let them know, hey, or ask them, is this what we're going for? Of course, all I have to do is just kind of edge you up here, or do whatever the case is. But just take your time, because like I say, they don't know half the time. So you wanna keep that clear communication with them so that you're not doing 2 or 3 haircuts. Um, Now, when you start getting busy, and you got a line of people that are waiting for you, or you end up with 2 or 3 back-to-back haircuts, um, you need to be clear with those customers that always walk in, because you're gonna always have customers that always walk in. Be clear with them when they come in. Let them know, hey, but today it's not really a good day. I do have 2 customers, or I have 5 customers, or I can get you next. Whatever the case is, don't just leave them waiting. Again, clarity is key, communication is key. Speak with them, let them know so that they're not wasting their time. Because you never know, they may be on their lunch break. They may have to pick up their kid within the next hour, but you're just getting started on one cut, so they may not have that time. Just be clear with them. They may be able to come back and get that haircut, but you don't want to lose a customer because of lack of communication. So as you start getting busy and you have a couple people back to back, just let them know, hey, I have 1 or 2 or whatever the case may be. I'll get with you in a second if you don't mind waiting. I think that shows them a little bit of respect and that you're handling your business as well. Now, of course, you'll have some that they'll start to just get a little butt headish and let you know, like, oh, you're getting too big, you're getting too busy, I may have to find me a new barber. Hey man, if that's how you feel, then that's the case. But I really don't have the time to go back and forth. I do have so many customers waiting. you know if you choose to wait, that's cool. You'll be next in line, or you'll have 2 people in front of you. If not, call me, text me, or you can book online. I promise I'll get you in whenever you can get in. But just keep the clippers moving, keep that chair spinning. We don't have time to banter back and forth. That's not what we're here for. Like, I'm trying to grow my business. I'm trying to pay attention not only to the customers that are waiting for me, but I'm also trying to pay attention to that customer that is in the chair, that I'm trying to make sure I can give them the best haircut that I can. So don't get caught up in the ones that get the talking out the side of their neck, talking about you too big for yourself. Now that you have 1 or 2 customers waiting for you, that's how the shop goes. Like, you can't just expect to always walk in, but you will have some that would just always feel like they can walk in whenever and get straight in a chair. You gotta let some of those know that that's not what a walk-in is. You can't walk in and expect to get directly in the chair. You can walk in and hope that you can be next, but you can't walk in and expect to be next in the chair. Like, we get calls to the shop like that all the time, and there's been a definite break in communication and understanding what a walk-in is. Some will call like, hey, can I walk in the next 30 minutes and get in? Like, no, you can get in the shop, yeah, but you can't walk in and get next in the chair. We have appointments that we're already dealing with, or there's already two walk-ins that are patiently waiting. So you just got to let some of them know that a walk-in is, you walk in, you sit down, and you wait patiently until the next available barber calls you. So with that kind of brings me to my last point, in understanding that you'll have those that will go through the back and forth game as far as canceling and rescheduling, and that back and forth, it's not good for you either. Like, it gets to just dragging you down, wasting your time, because here you are texting back and forth, or you're trying to call back and forth, and you're wasting your time like that. Like, your time is valuable, your time is money. You don't want to waste the time like, okay, well, no, I had you at 2. Oh, well, now you can't make that. You want to bump it back to 3. Well, I already got somebody at 3. For me, that's why I'm real big on the booking appointments now. Like, you can go onto the site, you can see what's available, you can book it at your convenience and be done with it. Like, no hassle, no headache, like all that. Now, I do still work off the phone. That's just because I feel like I know my booking and my style of cutting a little bit better than the booking app. But I still don't waste too much time with the canceling. And can you cancel that for me? No. If you're not going to cancel in a timely manner, then I have no problem just letting you fall to the wayside. And if you need to get to another barber, then that's cool, because I want to deal with the customers that are going to respect my time just as much. I'm gonna respect your time and trying to be on time and make sure that I can get you in and out of the chair around that appointment time frame that you had set to see me. Um, so, you want to make sure that you're not wasting too much time and trying to cancel an appointment, reschedule an appointment, um, or just especially those that like to cancel last minute. For me, like a repeat offender, they can get cut off the team real quick. Like I just feel like you're not taking me seriously, you're not taking my time seriously, and you're not truly valuing how I run my business. Because as I said before, this is how I feed my family. This is how I make sure clothes are on my kids' back, and that I'm able to sleep at night. That I'm taking care of my business. I'm making sure that my customers feel special and appreciated. So if you can't do the same for me, then we just don't need to be doing business together. So you want to make sure that you're not letting somebody just constantly pull your chain, constantly cancel on your last minute, constantly saying, "Oh, I can't make it at 2, but I will be there at 3." I already got somebody at 3. Like, I'm not about to do this. I, call me petty, Tom Petty, whatever you want. I have had people that I didn't respond and they still came at 3, and I just let them sit. Oh, man, my bad. I ain't see the text. You know what? I was busy. I was paying attention to my customer. I can't get you. Maybe, barber down there, they can get you. Or if you won't, yeah, I still got 2 ahead of you. I'll get to you after that. But, I'm the type that you will take my craft and my profession serious. And I'm not going to let you just keep yanking my chain at your will. But as I say, that's kind of another reason for the booking sites. Since I've done that for the past 5 years now, like I really haven't had too many issues with the yanking of canceling and rescheduling and canceling last minute. Again, if it happens, I remove you. Like I just don't have that time. My time is precious. So that's it. You just want to make sure that you're not wasting too much time, and you don't want to allow that customer to be on your nerves. You know what I mean? You don't want to make them, or you don't want to be on their time, should I say. You definitely want to make sure that a customer is on your time, because you set those appointments for an allotted time, and when they get to being those 5, 10, 15 minutes late, it messes with you, especially when you turn around and now they don't know how they want it cut. So you're wasting another 5, 10 minutes trying to talk. Now you're 20 minutes into the cut or to the time of the appointment, but you hadn't cut one strand of hair yet. So, you just want to make sure that they're not messing with your nerves. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you take care of them. You ask a million questions. Clarity is key. Communication is key. And you don't want to end up doing 2 or 3 haircuts. So make sure that you can think of all the questions that you can, and make sure that they can get everything out properly. Because as I said, there's 2 important keys to a haircut: the customer explaining it and the barber being able to understand it. So that's it. That's all we got. Your nerves are theirs. If it's up to me, I'm getting on their nerves before they get on mine. You should do the same. Keep that chair spinning. Holla.